What's going on, everyone? This is the Raikaze here. Today, we're going to be going into how you should be preparing for your day at a VGC Regionals Championship. Let's hop to it. Right, now first things first, you may have noticed on the thumbnail that there's another logo there, and that is the logo for Card Shark Dojo. That is a brand new company that's starting up to where it is diving heavy into the gaming community. Now, in terms of Pokemon, there's the Pokemon VGC content, the trading card game, Pokemon Go, and there's other fighting games. There's so many different games out there, of course, and different trading card games and things like that, that it actually is going to be focusing on to really help people in terms of gaining their opportunity to go to competitions, even have the ability to even travel to them, or even knowing how to play the game. I am actually going to be heading the VGC component of it. So I partnered with Card Shark Dojo, and this video will be uploaded on that page as well as soon as the page goes live. With that being said, when that page goes live, you all will definitely know about it. So stay tuned for that. But for now, let's go ahead and continue on with what we are here for today. Alright, so some of you may be wondering, how do you even go to a Pokemon Regionals Championship? Some of you may even think that this game might not even be a competitive thing. You'd be completely wrong by not even realizing how competitive this game actually gets. The thing is though, you might want to figure out how can you even go to these competitions in order for you to even see how this actually even takes place. So, first thing that you want to actually do is go over to www.pokemon.com/US/play-Pokemon. Now, the reason why you want to go to this website is because you need to create an account and have a player ID. That is very important that you do that, because without a player ID, you cannot actually be registered for a tournament. It's almost like you're registering, saying, hey, this is my gamer tag, this is my ID number. You need to have that ID number in order for you to be able to compete. While you're on that same page, after you've created your account, you need to then go into the segment where it says Nintendo account, and you must link your Nintendo Switch account. That's the only way you're going to be able to earn your championship points towards your name. So if you earn enough points throughout the season, you can make it to the World's Championship. So make sure again that you are going to www.pokemon.com/US/play-Pokemon. Now that's of course for the United States. I'm not sure what the other links are for outside of the country, but for the US, that's the link. And you go to that page, and then you create an account, get your player ID, and then link your Nintendo account. The next thing that you want to do is go to RK9.gg. That is the hub where you can actually see all of the upcoming Pokemon tournaments, and where you can actually have an opportunity to click on a link so you can register for those tournaments. The very important thing about that is that there are different dates to begin registration for different tournaments. So you really want to keep an eye on those pages to know when the registration is going to open, so you can hop in there and register as soon as possible. For the tournament that was in Orlando, that tournament filled up very quickly. For the one in San Diego, I couldn't even make it to that one because it filled up way too fast. So make sure you are in fact signing up as early as possible so you can have a seat in the competition, so you can test your skills against everyone else. Alright, so now the next thing that you want to do is you want to set up travel. This is a very important factor. You really want to kind of get there at least a day early for the tournament. Check out the venue, see where it's at in comparison to your hotel, or you'll be able to know the time that you need to travel, because the competition starts very early Saturday morning. Usually about 7:30 you have to already be there. So you really want to know where you're going in advance so you can time everything just accordingly to make sure that you're on time. Because once the tournament begins, if you are late, it can cost you a match. So make sure you are in fact identifying where you need to be and how to get there. Now, the next thing that you want to do is build a team. Now, of course, this goes without saying, you're going to need a team in order for you to compete. However, it is very important that your team is developed in advance, because on that RK9.gg website that I already previously mentioned, you need to submit your team. Pokemon VGC tournaments are in open team sheet. Now, what that means is you will get a handout of the team that you submitted to the RK9 website. That will be the team that you will hand to your opponent at the beginning of the match, and they will be able to see the moves that your Pokemon knows and the items they are holding. Can't see stats or anything like that, but that's what the whole game of chess is. You know what your opponent pieces are. You want to know how you can potentially stop their pieces and see if your pieces can actually claim the victory first. So it's very important that you have your team submitted, because one thing that you do not want is for there to be a late entry and then lose points because of that. Another thing is that at the beginning of the tournament, you need to make sure that when they come around and hand you your team sheet, you compare it to your actual team. What happened to me in the Orlando Championship was that, luckily I caught it in the very beginning, but one of my Pokemon had a completely incorrect moveset. It just copied all the movesets from another Pokemon, which it cannot even learn. The fact that I caught it before any of the rounds began, it was a little bit of an ordeal, but they got it all fixed and they just had to write it on the paper and we pushed on through. But it was a very big stressor because I didn't want to get disqualified as if I put it in there incorrectly. So you really want to make sure you double check it, fine-tooth comb very early. Because what even happened with somebody that went against me in the 5th round, they got a game loss because I discovered that there was something that was incorrect on their sheet. They used a move that they shouldn't have been able to use that was not on their sheet, and I had to call the judge, and they got a game loss. Either somebody just did not even pick up on it in the previous 4 matches, or it's possible that the individual could have changed your team. I highly doubt that was the case, because the move that was written on the paper was not even possible even to begin with, and it was very unfortunate that the individual got a game loss because of that, and I hated it for him. But this is why you need to make sure that you have your team submitted and you double check that team sheet when you get it to make sure that everything is going to go as smoothly as possible, because you don't need any extra stressors on a very taxing day. Now, the next thing that you want to do, especially before even going to the tournament, the day before, is you want to eat. Eat, fill your belly, and relax, people. The tournament is coming up. You can have a couple practice rounds, but don't stress yourself out. Got to get a good night's rest, because that championship is going to start early the next morning. The Orlando Championship, we started at about, we got there 7:30. Matches started at about, I think, 8:30 if I recall, but we went until after 10 p.m. It's very mentally exhausting to go that long, so really make sure that you are resting as much as possible before the tournament begins. In addition to that, if you're already gone and know how far of a distance it is to get to the actual venue for the championship, you will know whether or not if you have any time to eat breakfast. So make sure that you either bring some snack foods so that you can carry and eat as you're driving to the venue, or that you eat breakfast before you leave your hotel or wherever you're staying, because some venues do not allow you to bring food into their vicinity. Therefore, you're going to need to make sure you have some food inside of your system, especially if you're like a diabetic or something like that. Make sure you have food in your system before you go to these tournaments, because it's long days, and the times when they might give you a lunch break, it really might be many hours later or something like that. So you're going to have to make sure you have a good number of carbs or calories inside of you to sustain yourself for the first set of matches. Now, next thing that you want to do when you get to the venue, you get your wristband and get checked in. The next thing that you really want to do, honestly, is just take it all in. Enter inside of that venue and you will see that you are surrounded by everyone that is all like-minded, playing the same game that you're playing, ready to compete and test their skills and put it up against one another, ready to play the game that you have a love for. Make sure, of course, that you also hop over to that swag table, because they usually give you different pieces of swag materials as part of your registration. So earlier you get there, the more likely it's not going to run out. Make sure you get on over to the swag table and gather your items. While you're taking it all in, make sure you're checking out the different vendors that are going to be there, the different plushes, Pokemon cards, different things like that. Like I said, continue taking it all in. And also make sure that you have the RK9.gg website pulled up on your phone, and or keep an ear and or eye out for the team pairings to be posted. So on the RK9.gg website, it will continue to upload an update to let you know when the pairings are created. That will show you where your first match is going to be. Now, it's very important for you to be at the table that they designate you to go to at the time when you are due to be there. So if you for some reason don't have your phone, or you don't have battery power or something like that, that's why I say keep an ear and eye out for where they may post the actual hard copy. Usually it's on a poster board somewhere. Once you know where that is, you go and you can see where you need to be, and you'll get to your station, and that is where they typically will hand you your team sheet. And like I said it again, you want to go through that team sheet, make sure everything is right before that first round begins. Once that's all done, you're at your table, you're in front of your opponent, you meet them, greet them with a smile, have some fun, and then from there, just battle. Keep on battling and hit your next station. Sometimes you might have a little extra time between matches, sometimes you might have less. Do what you need to do to actually regroup after each match. And trust me, I'm even saying this to myself. Even got into my head after a couple matches that I lost in the previous tournament. But you really just got to stick with it. Keep with your own strategy. Keep hitting hard. And just enjoy the game. Enjoy the game with everyone else. And try your best not to get down in the dumps. Enjoy it. Make new friends. And continue to build on your knowledge and skill in the Pokemon game. At the end of all of that, the biggest thing that you want to do is rest again, because if you actually make it to day 2, it's going to be another set of days of matches. So you really want to go back to where you're staying for the night, have a meal, and rest. So anytime if you get a moment to in between matches at some point throughout the day, they usually try to give you a lunch break. Make sure you take that opportunity to hurry and get to a venue to where you can have an actual meal. It's very important that you do that. Sometimes the lunch break can be 30 minutes, could be over an hour, just depending on how much time it was after your match. So really make sure you do that. It's very difficult as well, depending on where your venue is and what vendors are in that facility. So really look out for that. Make sure you eat something throughout the day and keep yourself energized for the remainder of that tournament. Once the matches are all over, you see where your standing is, and you'll determine whether or not if you need to come back for day 2 or not. If you didn't make it to day 2, sometimes there are some side events that you can take part in, so make sure you check out that as well. And honestly, if there's no day 2 or side events for you to take part in on that second day, go ahead and go, and you could possibly see some of the top level players and see how they're playing, and think about the things that you will want to do in those matches and how you're going to be preparing for the future competition. And that's pretty much it. So just as a quick recap, you're going to go to the Pokemon.com and you're going to create yourself a player ID. Once you've done that, you're going to link it with your Nintendo Switch account. After that, you go to that RK9 website and you create your profile there to where you can log into those tournaments. Then you start to prepare your teams, get them ready for these competitions, get them uploaded into RK9's website, so your team sheet will be generated and submitted. So therefore, when the competition begins, you'll go through that team sheet, make sure everything is just the way it was on your tournament sheet, and you're ready to battle. And once you do that, just embrace the day, make new friends, and have a blast. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope it does help you to be prepared for those future tournaments, and that is something that if it's something you do want to dive into, that you do not hesitate and you jump in on this, and maybe I'll see you all at one of those future tournaments. But as of right now, this is going to be the Raikaze signing off, also partnered with Card Shark Dojo. You all know what to do. Stay strong and you power on. Catch y'all later.